Special good morning to our listeners. Special good morning to the viewers. How is everyone doing this morning? It's Friday, the 16th day of January 2026. To the point is on, folks. I'm your host, GT. Hope everyone is doing okay this morning. All is well with you. Of course, you're in high spirits. You're looking forward towards a really, really good day today. Hey, folks, we're going to have an open line this morning on today's edition of To the Point. Your calls certainly will be welcomed. Yes, 435-2041, whether it's a WhatsApp or the direct line, your calls will certainly be welcome this morning on today's edition. Those of you who are driving around on the nation's roads, as usual, I beg of you to drive around with that due care and attention. I think it so happened that today, Friday the 16th of January, history could be made. An incident or accident-free day in the Spice Isle. If that could only happen, will be suddenly be a really, really good one. Yeah, you can make history. Not a single accident occur, whether at a minor level or major level, no accidents occur. That will be so good to hear. Next week or so when we do have the traffic report or so forth, we hear, the traffic department announces, hey, there was nothing in terms of a vehicular accident took place on this particular date. Let's try that. Let's try that a whole lot. Folks, as I mentioned, open line, a thought came to mind this morning, and I would certainly love if the listeners and viewers could probably chime in on it. Was it on, let me see if I could get my dates right. Was it on January 14th? There was, of course, a press conference where, of course, an update on Grenada. Of course, the government of Grenada moved towards, national cannabis reform in 2026. I would certainly like to hear your views on that, folks, in terms of the decriminalization of marijuana. Lots of consultations will be taking place, and the amendment, of course, of the laws and so forth to come. I certainly would like to hear your views on that, Grenada. Do you think we as a people, are we ready for that? Is it the right direction for us? I know there's been tons of conversation on that over the years. There are folks who've been clamoring for, the decriminalization, or some folks would like to say the legalization and so forth of marijuana. Are we as a people, are we ready for that? Would you say that we're ready? And that's the direction that the country should be going at. Lots of you may have seen how individuals, of course, are members of your family, may have had their life deteriorated because of the use of it. So let's hear your views, the pros and cons of it. Those of you who may agree, I'm all ears this morning in reference to that. Let's hear your views. The lines are open for the conversation this morning. 435-2041, both the direct line and the WhatsApp will be available for you this morning. Let's go to the phone line, and I would certainly love for callers to of course, let's keep on the topic that I mentioned this morning. Let's go to the phone line. Caller, you're live. Good morning and welcome. We lost our first caller. 435-2041, 435-2041, and we go back to the phone line. Caller, you are live. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, GT.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning, sir?
Pretty quiet. I get into my routine. I get into the daily challenges in life. You get in. You don't sit on your laurels.
All right. I agree with you. I agree with you
right?
with that.
I don't think I had the opportunity and the privilege to interact with you for the new year. So let me wish you a productive, peaceful, quiet, and constructive 2026.
Appreciate it a whole lot, and thank you, and I certainly said the same back to you, sir.
Right. Now, GT, apart from the question or the issue of concern this morning on the topic or legalization or with marijuana, right? Whatever, with
legalization, decriminalization,
whatever,
you want to put
marijuana.
it. Mm-hmm.
Right. Listen to me carefully. When you take an in-depth and a close look at Grenada's economic potential, is marijuana number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 in order of priority in that economic potential? Stop there. 2, is the people of Grenada or the Grenadian people is fully aware and knowledgeable of the economic potential and the responsibility as a citizen? 3, is there any tangible evidence that our modus operandi across the board has shown the realization of that economic potential? And 5, when somebody is blind, you are blind. But you can be physically blind or you're mentally blind. And if you're blind and you can't see, whether physically or mentally, that means you're sleeping. So therefore, it is crucial that the Grenadian people awake, knowing that Grenada is a small country, a small nation, a young nation, if you want to put it that way, is yet in the global market. So then what is our challenge to go forward, moving forward? As adults now, we have a responsibility. If you want to call it spiritual, moral, whatever, responsibility, because we bring young ones into the world. We bring young ones in Grenada, and we have to take care of them. We have to mold them. We have to make them. And then that molding and making would depend on what you see the future and how you want them to come out and what kind of environment they should be in. So as you go down and they go up, you will be able to be at peace with yourself. Therefore, with the answer to these questions, in my view, marijuana is not a priority. It is not a priority. It's a, what you call it, hallucinating substance, or a psychotropic substance, whatever it is, leave that out. Go to the natural, build on that, take those things that we have that has tremendous economic potential and sell it to the world, especially people that don't have that. Market it properly, GT. GT, we need to wake up. GT, we have the power to think. We have the power to reason. We have the freedom to act. And the choices we make will determine what our tomorrow would be like. GT, God bless you. Have
too.
a nice day.
So one quick question thrown out to you this morning, sir. So you saying, with all that you have said, are you saying that the economic potential for Grenada is minimal in its sense as it stands right now?
The economic potential of Grenada, according to the lifestyle of the people, Grenadian people, they have not seen the realization or the full realization of that economic potential. So whether it's minimal or none at all, or whether you're fooling around, the question is you have to identify and know what is before you and where you're going. And hold on a minute. You have two families in the same community. One is basically depending, that's the way they're thinking, that's how they operate, that's the way they're thinking. One is basically waiting for someone to give them something from outside or whatever. The other one, look around them, see what they have, and they walk in with that for the development and the daily survival or the daily living. The bottom line here is that which one of those two families are more economically strong, centered, and well-structured? Talk to me.
All right, sir. It's something that someone needs to ponder upon a wee bit in terms before a response could be given. Thank you for your contribution, sir.
Yeah, listen to me carefully. I live in Central Andrews. I'm a very simple man. Very simple, very down to earth. And lots of people know my voice, and the Grenadian people know me. My name is Franklin Salem. Simple, ordinary. I have no fear. Thank you. God bless you.
Same goes out to you, sir. Have a good morning. And thank you for your contribution this morning, 4:45. And thank you, sir, for breaking the ice on the conversation this morning, 4:45-2041. We're talking basically, of course, how do you feel in reference to, of course, Grenada wanting to, update government wants to move towards national cannabis reform in 2026? Are we ready for that as a people, as a society, as it stands right now? Are we really ready for that to go, the process of going ahead of are there more important things you think that government should be focused on? Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, you are live. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Telesford.
Good morning to you, sir. How are you doing this morning? I'm doing good.
Mr. Telesford, when I hear topics like this, it drives me back to my boyhood days. I refer to here, let me see, 54 years ago, Mr. Telesford. I was 20. I just left school a year prior. I just began to work. And of course, you wanted to quote-unquote play man. So you followed the crowd. Weed was it back then? We used to call it various names: ganja, collie, canawan, herb, grass, all kind of names. Marijuana, cannabis, sativa. Mr. Telesford, so I found myself in it. And at the same time, as Grenadians, we love the booze. So we ended mixing. Occasionally, especially on Saturday night. And you can imagine, Mr. Telesford, I'm telling you from my experience, from our use, from what we can deduce from our use of alcohol, added to the use of marijuana, we head in for chaos. My view from my experience. Now, as to the studies done, because you see, they're both mind-altering at different levels. I repeat, experience. They're both mind-altering at different levels. One bluntens your thought, slows you down, the other excites things. Confusion in your head. I challenge any man who have done them both, to tell me, quote-unquote, tell me a lie. But we have scientists and we have doctors and we have lawyers and so on, and they have promoted it. And now we're talking about the medical industry. Doggone with this medical industry. Plant food for the people to eat. The world is becoming more difficult every day. Look at what's happening outside there. There'll be problem on the seas. There'll be problem in the air that we wouldn't be able to import as we want. Plant food. Plant corn and store. Plant mayoc and store. Find ways of planting more food so that the people can be guaranteed food when there are problems outside there. That is the road we have to take in this here country. And those who are doing this, pay attention to those who are doing it. They have their plans, they have their desires. Some of them are land. So they see, listen, take it from me. I have nothing more to say on this matter, Mr. Telesford. This is the wrong way. But this country has chosen, based on the leadership that we have, to go the wrong way and to take the people down a slippery slopes into devastation little later on. This is the wrong way. Say what you want. Why is it that Jamaica doesn't, just to finalize, Mr. Telesford, this little input here. Jamaica is being known for weed from morning. Is their economy getting any better? Has it been growing through all of that? If there's anybody in the Caribbean, any country in the Caribbean outside of Colombia produces for a different purpose. If Jamaica had been so successful in its production of weed over the years, it's been a booming economy in this here country. St. Vincent, even the Vinci smart, because we import ground provision from the Vinci, ain't it? They produce the weed and the thing going, but we import ground provision, we import cattle from them, we import meat, sheep, and whatnot from the country, because they use their head and they've been advancing this thing. But do we have to do it because they do it? These are the questions we have to ask. For me, it's the wrong way. I'll say no more for that for now. Look, I better give somebody else a chance. But that's my position on this issue, Mr.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate your contribution on that. Thank you so much. 435-2041. We do have another caller via the WhatsApp. Let me see if we can get that one going. Caller, you are live. Good morning and welcome.
Well, good morning, JT.
Good morning.
I just want to add a little. I just want to add a little 2 pence, and it's a virtual 2 pence in truth, because I listened to all the discussion, and what I keep hearing is it seems that we are following, there is a need to follow other countries who have gone that way with the marijuana. But then, on the other hand, when we talk tourism, we're saying Grenada is the safest country in the Caribbean, so that means we're leading in some way. You agree?
Yes, I do. I agree.
That means we're doing something right. So why then are we going to follow the others to taint our name? You know, GT, I had somebody used to come here and clean my yard for me, and the young man told me at 7 years he started to smoke weed. At 7 years, he told me that. He said it was on the table, it was his stepfather owned, and he stole it and he ran and hid in a corner because he saw the man smoking it, you know. So he went and hid, and he smoked it. And after that, nobody ever stopped him. Now, GT, can you imagine being the teacher of that child? Right? You don't know, you find the child strange in class, but you would never ever imagine that child smoking weed. So you're beating that child, you're doing the child all kind of, but you find the child still strange. All the time the child coming to school drugged, you know. So I don't know. As parents, I have to follow Mr. Rollo, because there are a lot of stories like him where little boys, young boys following the big ones, they get managed and they're following the big ones, and they ending up very early in jail because it is a mind-altering substance. It could have how much good in it, but it is a mind-altering substance. So,
quick question to you. Quick question to you on this. Well, the amendment is also stated in when the legislation will be amended. You know, there'll be an age range in the use. So of course, I think it's from 21 years, and under that, if you are caught in public smoking, there'll be a charge of $300 and so forth. What's your take on that? Know that there's no legislation we're hearing of younger individual. I have known individual who was dear friends of mine who have.
They will not be caught smoking it in public. That's what I tell you. The guys tell me at 7 years, he did it at his home and he went to school. You understand? They will not be caught smoking it in public, but it's readily available and they feel that it's good for them. Somebody called me this week about neighbors who sit in their yard, and their yard is the other person's kitchen window is open to them, and they're sitting in their yard smoking weed. The poor woman had to close her kitchen window because they feel they're right to do it, because they're on their compound, they're not in public. You understand? If you call the police say no, how to handle it. But if I do not want it in my system, you must not impose it on me. So go inside, close your door, and do your thing. That's your business. But you must not sit in the yard and blowing it out where I can inhale it. That is not fair. Yeah?
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. We do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Hi. Good morning, GT.
Good morning to you, sir.
And I'd like to start up with what the last caller ended with. What is public? Because in Grenada today, we have moved away from the single unit dwellings, where we have no apartment buildings. And what happens when the guy in the apartment next to you, or the one below you or above you, decides to smoke? Is that his private space? Or it may be an apartment across from you. So it is very important in I would say in drafting the legislation that we know what is public and what is private. Because what a man may consider to be his private space may be your porch. So this I'm very worried about, and I've mentioned it before. we have to take a lot of things into consideration. I may be called old school. Probably I am old school. But like Mr. Rolo, I've said many times before on this medium, when marijuana becomes a food, I'll support it wholeheartedly. But as long as we continue to have to import food, even from our neighbors around, I don't see the merits of a lot of what is being said. Probably we have to come up to date with the rest of the world, but do we have the health care? Do we have the counseling? Do we have what is required to deal with some of the negative impacts of those things? And once it becomes more, once it has been decriminalized, it becomes more accessible. And as the previous caller said, it may become accessible to a lot of children underage, a lot of other people who would otherwise not have been exposed to it. And they don't have to be doing it in public. But the impacts will be public for all of us. So while I understand the need to modernize, the need to be realistic, as some people might say, I would suggest that we tread cautiously. We first of all find ways of dealing with all the possible negative consequences. So when we come out, it is not half-baked or half-cooked. It is ready to roll with all the necessary provisos and all the necessary protection for those of us who decide not to. Lastly, I would say this whole thing about the commercial value of it, and so it's a whole set of hogwash. I don't make an excuse for that. Because if everybody is doing it, who are we going to be selling it to? And there's a lot of talk about hearing a contradiction, medicinal purposes and having recreational purposes. Who is buying it? Who is selling it to? Where are the others who have been doing it before? How much money is it bringing into them? What is the balance in terms of the costs against the revenue and other things like that? I am concerned. I may be one of a few, and probably I'm a dinosaur in terms of my thinking, but I'm saying here that we have to be very careful. We should tread softly on this, make sure all the protections are in place. All the protections are in place. But let us focus, for heaven's sake, on feeding our nation, feeding ourselves. There is no restrictions, there is no limit, there is no criminalization in growing food. Let us grow food. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your contribution. Sure. Thank you a whole lot. Caller, you're live. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you going?
Doing great. How are you this morning?
Trying to be good like you, man. Give me the recipe now.
Let's hear your contribution.
It's a very good topic that you have this morning. My first concern is this. When you smoke tobacco has a nasty effect on the body. You get cancer. Doctors will tell you that it's bad. Other health professionals will tell you that it's bad. When you smoke marijuana now, one of the first bad effects of marijuana, you get hallucinated. And I believe the same effect may happen on your lungs. You may end up getting cancer too. The point I'm making is this. When you get this kind of disease from smoking marijuana and tobacco and things like that, people who smoke it tell you they take one joint and they start cursing even their own parents. They start walking and they're feeling high why do we need that to be a part of our developmental system? Take, for instance, cocaine. Not because cocaine have a few medicinal purpose you could use it for. Do you think that Grenada should go and take cocaine and plant it and say because cocaine has a medicinal purpose that cocaine is good and we should plant it? No. If marijuana has medicinal purpose, the persons that using it, like the doctors and them who discover that, let the prescribe the medicinal purpose and how to handle that part of it. So that if we need to get that, we get that. That does not give the license to us here in Grenada to be taking up marijuana and say we want to smoke marijuana because marijuana has medicinal purpose and we don't know what we're going to take it for. Just take it and smoke it and walk all over the road with it and boil it and drink it, take it and smoke it, eat it and say it's good for medicinal purpose, and we don't know what medicinal purpose is good for, and it could be giving us bad cancer, making us hallucinated and all them type of thing. I don't think that is the best way to go for the country. If some other persons have it and they use it for medicinal purpose, and the person who is sick here believe that they should use that to whether we import it or not, the doctor recommended if it's for that and the dosage for that. But to say you go legalize it now so that people could smoke it as they wish, hide and smoke it and all them kind of thing, and say argue that it's good for medicinal purpose is very wrong. And it should not, according to the Calypso that they play to it should not be a part of our DNA. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you, caller. Thank you very much. Folks, we drew for a break. Let's take it when we come back. We continue the conversation. Stay with us to the point. Classic Radio GBN TV. We will be right back.
Grenada, are you ready for the biggest football showdown to kick off 2026? Our senior men's national team is back and they're going for 7 straight wins. Sunday, January 18th, Team Grenada takes on regional rivals Jamaica in a clash of titans at the Karani James Athletic Stadium. Kickoff 5 p.m. sharp. It's pride, power, and pure Caribbean football. Grenada versus Jamaica, a rivalry like no other. Can we make it 7 in a row? Come feel the energy, the passion, the fight. Tickets just $25 for adults, $10 for children. Kids under 10 enter free. Grab yours now at Heather's Boutique, Chucky's Bar, Grenadian Optical, or GFA's office. Tell your friends, bring the family, and let's pack the stadium. This is more than a match. This is Grenada versus Jamaica, and we want all of you to be in the stands. Sunday, January 18th at 5 p.m. Grenada versus Jamaica. One team, one goal.
All here is all about Oil Fest 2026. GBN Oil Fest. I took part last year and I'm the champion, and I'm looking forward for persons to compete with me. All come up, pause airstrip, come up, let's cook the national dish. I know you Grenadians can real cook, and all you know about oil it's all about breadfruit to coconut and taste and colors. So all you come, let's compete.
GBN's Oil Fest is proudly sponsored by Glen Spring Water, Grenville Credit Union, the Marketing and National Importing Board, Echo Blue Limited, Rush Distributors, Grenada Cooperative Bank, Grenada Paper Products, Superb Distributors, and Grenada Motor Club.
Welcome back to our listeners. Welcome back, viewers. It's to the point. Classic Radio GBN TV. I'm your host, GT. And, of course, we still continue the progress with our conversation this morning. And we go back to the phone. I think we do have a caller via WhatsApp. WhatsApp caller live. Good morning. Welcome. I think we may have lost that one. Okay. WhatsApp caller live. Good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
It is quite simple. Marijuana is a plant. It has good uses. But anyone who wants to smoke has no brain on their head. They're foolish because I know no one, when a building is on fire or when bush is on fire, go and stand up in it to inhale the smoke. So the people who believe smoking is a good thing, I'm sorry for them. We need to pray for them. We need to talk to them and help them to understand that based on what we learn in school, you're taking oxygen, not carbon dioxide. So that is clear. In terms of spaces, public and private, that is always debatable. But there's some other things which are very important. Sorry for sidetracking. I want to talk of two other things.
I would beg of to stay on conversation this morning. I would prefer we stay on the topic we taken on this morning, most likely.
All right, I respect your view. Probably another time. Thank you.
No problem, sir. Have a good one. 435, we do have another caller. Caller, live. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, sir.
I don't think you're taking poll to see who is side of marijuana or whatever it is to these hard drugs. Anyhow, nevertheless, I consider this thing is one of the worst things you could ever think of introducing into, not you personally then, one thinks of introducing into Grenada.
Well, I don't think it's an introduction into Grenada anymore. It's already here. It's basically legalization and decriminalization.
Not loose introduction, legally then. Because I look at it as if now you have so many crimes being committed. I cannot tell you they have been committed because of people smoking illegal drugs. Possible. These are possibly causes or cause of most of the things that I would say, not the aged, the youths are being involved in the law. This is what caused it, helping to cause them to be involved in the law. You see, in certain areas, people just running down into your yard and asking you for this and for that. It is because they are on high. Suppose you don't give them, and they are on high, a special height. They hallucinating, and then they attack you. What would you do? Do you think that you would have to defend yourself? No, I think once we legalize these things, or we make it illegal for people to use, we will be in trouble. We'll have to build more prisons. We'll have to help people more because we will have more walking zombies. Because we have a lot of them already. They're walking with possible hardly any clothes on them. And you can see it in the heart of St. George's. You could see it. So I would never advocate that we go into this type of business. Maybe the people who are trying to introduce it might never smoke it because they might get the people's property if they commit themselves. The government would get it and this and that and that. Anyway, enjoy yourself.
Thank you, sir. Have a good morning. So they may not agree with this statement. Of course, most crimes are committed because of individuals using it, the marijuana. There are folks who may not have touched it but still commit crimes for whatever reason. We do have another caller. WhatsApp, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. GT.
Good morning to you, sir. What's up this morning?
Yes, I'm doing fine. Well, I'm doing fine, thank you, and I hope you're doing fine too.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm good.
That's a loaded topic, and it's rather interesting. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Loud and clear. Go right ahead.
Yeah. If you reflect on alcohol, I'm not sure in Grenada, but in some countries, there's a time when alcohol was illegal, and people used to do it in secret and make products in the bush and so on and drink it anyway, and decriminalizing it, it's fun to have a role because, I think we all need mercy and so on. So when you think of putting somebody in prison because they smoke a joint and so on, I can see where the role of mercy and decriminalization comes to play. I don't really have an answer to whether it should be legalized or not, but I have some comments to make, and that is we should consider the consequences. Psychologists, mental health professionals, and so on know that people who smoke marijuana and so on, they have a propensity, if they are prone to schizophrenia and mental disorder, those things can become manifested. We also have to be concerned that if it's legalized and a parent is smoking it in the house, then that's not in public. But the children will likely inhale the secondhand marijuana smoke. And do we have the capacity from a health standpoint to deal with mental illnesses and so on that may come to be manifested or maybe latent, and once the folks are exposed to marijuana become expressed? How will we deal with all those things? And then the next thing is from an economic standpoint, as some of the callers mentioned, if marijuana is legal and I decide to smoke it and I'm in Grenada, I could grow it in my pot, in my backyard and so on. So I'm not going to be going and buy it when I can grow it for myself. And so I'm not sure of the economic impact, whether it may be positive or we can predict it, even though it may have some medicinal value. So it's a loaded topic, and I think we got to think about it very cautiously. I can see about the decriminalization, because I believe in showing mercy to people and not blighting their future with a criminal record. But we have to think about the consequences, and I think the psychologists and mental health professionals and experts should weigh in on those things. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Appreciate your contribution. We do have another caller. Caller, live. Good morning. Welcome.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yes, I think the emphasis probably should be placed on let us increase the cultivation of nutmeg, cocoa, etc., more spices. That should not just be a political and a legal debate. It should be scientific because of the medicinal properties marijuana has. Okay, our health system is not where it should be. Marijuana can have negative impact on one's health. Why, with all the potential that Grenada has, for example, in agriculture, agro-processing, etc. Why are politicians so brainless in wasting time on that? Grenada geographically is mountainous, etc. If marijuana had that high price that could turn around our economy, why not the Colombian economy is turned around because of marijuana and other areas with large landmass that have the climatic condition that is conducive for the cultivation of that crop? I think it is senseless. It is, permit me to say that, silly, ungodly, and we are going down a dangerous path. Let us focus more on what our soil can produce internationally and rescue us economically. So we should be focusing probably on agro-processing. We should be focusing on, cultivating certain areas in more spices. Grenada's cocoa is one of the best tasting cocoa on the planet. Why are we not talking about here? Listen, we have a special product. Let us enhance it and focus on that instead of the senseless conversation about marijuana and its decriminalization, etc. People have to stop looking for vote and think about the country. Have a nice day, my brother.
Thank you. Appreciate your contribution. We do have another caller via WhatsApp. Good morning, you're live.
Hey, JT, good morning.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
Topic, JT. Just hanging in there today. Nice weather, not that bad. Even though it's still in the 30s.
All right.
JT. Okay, it's a great topic, as I said. But JT, I think one of the models that we use is from St. Vincent, right? And we have to realize 20% of St. Vincent GDP basically was from marijuana. That was in the early 20s. And after they had the other 18% of legal export, right, which generates over $60 million in EC, approximately. That's like $22 million. So marijuana do have money if it's done in the proper way. And that was for medical purposes with cannabis, basically. Right, so if we're using that role model, basically, as I said, we could see that there is it generates, as I say, 22%. Okay. My problem with the legalization of marijuana, well, I live in the United States, and marijuana is illegal up here. is legal up here, basically. All right, which you could get to plant like 6 trees in your backyard, and you can go over 2 ounces, like walking in the street. If anything over 2 ounces, you could be arrested. But the problem I have is that since marijuana illegalized, GT, is the amount of kids, school children smoking it. GT, then on public transportation, you see they rolling it, they smoking it in the back of the bus. You're there on the train, you see they rolling it too. You know, when I see like 10 years children smoking, GT, it brings a concern to me. You know what I mean? So as I say, if we want to legalize it or have it for medical purposes, we have to be responsible. And they have to have penalties that for when adults will buy marijuana for young children under age to buy, I think they should have a stiff penalty. And one of the things, again, GT, there is something they call edibles, again, to which is dangerous again. You know what I mean? I just see children, school children, lining up to buy edibles, you know? So, and edibles come like in candies, in like, let me say like basically like biscuit, you know, cake and all these brownies and all these things on them. So we have to be careful with the road we treading, and then we have to look out for kids. You know, that's my main concern is.
Okay, thank you.
My main concern is the wrong set of people getting into this smoking and all these things on them.
Thank you, caller. You too. Have a great Friday. What's left of it?
Always a pleasure to speak to you.
All right, blessings,
and
man.
as I say, you bring it to the economy, but we have to be careful.
All right, thank you. We do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Jay. How are you doing, brother?
Doing great. Let's hear your contribution, please.
You know, weed is a plant, right? And by being a plant, you have the medicinal values like any other plant. I want to make that thing clear. When I was growing up, I mean, my friends and them, you know, they always try to get me to smoke weed, and I tried. But my parents was really bad. My grandmother didn't make a joke with that. So my dad, now, I'm afraid to smoke. But most of my friends that I grew up with, some of them are mentally ill now. Some of them are, they're still not progressive. I don't know. But I'm still kind of bring down weed because weed is a plant, and some guys that smoke weed, they're progressive. So you have its advantage and disadvantage. What I can see about weed is that we come with what we call organized crime. And we're not looking at the organized crime part of it. We're looking at how we can make money. So how do we make the money? Now, the thing has moved from bush weed to you have to buy the seeds. If you're growing weed in Grenada here, you have to buy all the seeds from America here. You know that. But the bush weed you have there can export. You have to buy the seeds, and the seeds can only grow once. When you cut that tree down, that seed can grow again. You have to buy the seeds again. So you have to understand the dynamic effect. But we always bring the point that. So, the organized crime, how do we deal with that? Remember, the government gave people barrel just a little while ago. And from estimation, the amount they have gone and push.
Let us try not to deviate too far off the main conversation, please, huh?
I'm looking at the organized crime. So when you legalize weed, though, you don't understand, people are selling weed right now. They can't make money. They go step up the organized crime. So me and you in our house, like I'm sleeping in the night. What happened in Trinidad and other places will happen in Grenada because the men need to make their money just as well. So you got so much organized crime in this country. How do we deal with that? You have a peaceful country. You have to weigh your options. Would you trade peace for crime and just for weed? It make much sense.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate your contribution. Caller via WhatsApp, you're live. Good morning.
Morning, Mr. GT. How are you doing?
Doing good, sir. Good morning to you.
You know, you look around this country, especially in the northern part of this country, businesses are shutting down, have shut down for the past 2 years more than any other time in the history of this country. Some of them are on their dying bed right now, close to shutting down. The big question that hang over that legalization of marijuana and the force about it to legalize it is who would benefit. Would that revive the economy of this country so that people would feel confident once again, as the confidence has shown itself from, for example, from 2014 up to 2022, that people are going to be expecting to progress in this country economically? That's a big question that hang over the legalization of marijuana. So you legalize it. There comes the issue now of the effect it would have on the economy. Even to the extent that the one that caller just presents. the issue of who would be controlling it, so that I would fight for a place to be the dominant one, and it could become a criminal activity easily. Don't look at this thing so simple. Interesting. The whole aspect of food security hangs around this whole thing too. So you have prime lands, and especially the people who are pushing the idea of legalization of marijuana, and especially the whole aspect of medicinal purposes and so on. They would have the advantage of cultivating how much of acres they have, the estates that they have, and benefit from it more than the local people, or the ordinary man, as you might say, would benefit from it. Now, the decriminalization of certain aspect of it, where you meet a guy with a few ounces or 2 ounces or whatever they are among, they say. Nowadays, you talk about grams and things. I am not too good at grams as I am good at ounce, and pounds and so on. But what I'm saying here is that who would benefit from it more than anything else? The purpose for smoking. I mean, that is clear. God didn't make man to smoke, whatever, whether it's tobacco, marijuana, or whatever. Then you look at the effect it would have, like one of your caller very early pointed out. The child at whatever age started and what effect it had on him. I know what effect it had on you, because I smoked marijuana very early in this country when few people knew what marijuana was about in this country. I'm close to 70, so I'm close to one of your caller, to the second caller, third caller, who made mention about the kind of effect it had on him when he started smoking and so on. I know about it too. When you talk about mind altering and hallucination, that's what marijuana does to people. It takes you in another world. You're seeing things. You're telling me that's something good? And you have children being acclimatized to it, or feeling that it is okay to do it, and you're going to have a development of a society. Don't give me that to hold. It's who is going to benefit from it, the effect it's going to have on society, and a lot of your callers have hidden it. Let's plant food. In this situation, the wall is falling down into war zones. Look at the situation with the fishermen and so on who went out on sea and was bombed in the Venezuela environment and coast and so on. We are being shot in. We have a lot of lands in this country turning bush. Let's plant food. I'm a person, I grew up in the garden. I believe in planting food. I've always done it. And if I don't have food around me to plant, I don't feel good. I used to leave my work. I do construction, and I will leave work, especially around the end of the dry season. I don't care about going to work, to make sure that my garden is prepared and that kind of thing. Let's focus on this type of thing. This marijuana illegalization is who's going to benefit from it.
Thank you.
Not the society in general, for sure. Take care, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Let's take this caller. We lost this caller. Well, folks, let's go for the break. And when we come back, we continue, of course, in the final segment with just approximately 10 minutes before we wrap today's edition. We'll be right back after the break. Don't touch it down.
What am I dealing with? Well, you know this is me, one lion, two dread. GBN Oil Long Fest. All the oil long bosses out there, come and register. Pause Airstrip, January 31st, we outside. Let me see who can cook. They say country better than tongue, but we go find out on the 31st of January. Come on, GBN Oil Long Fest. You can't miss it. Food just tastes good. Oil long just tastes better. Oh, when I get mad at Greece, I Greece said, and I feel like I can't in the rain.
GBN's Oil Long Fest is proudly sponsored by Glen Spring Water, Grenville Credit Union, the Marketing and National Importing Board, Echo Blue Limited, Rush Distributors, Grenada Cooperative Bank, Grenada Paper Products, Hubbard's, Superb Distributors, and Grenada Motor Club.
Grenada. Are you ready for the biggest football showdown to kick off 2026? Our senior men's national team is back, and they're going for 7 straight wins. Sunday, January 18th, Team Grenada takes on regional rivals Jamaica in a clash of titans at the Karani James Athletic Stadium. Kickoff 5 p.m. sharp. It's pride, power, and pure Caribbean football. Grenada versus Jamaica, a rivalry like no other. Can we make it 7 in a row? Come feel the energy, the passion, the fight. Tickets just $25 for adults, $10 for children. Kids under 10 enter free. Grab yours now at Heather's Boutique, Chucky's Bar, Grenadian Optical, or GFA's office. Tell your friends, bring the family, and let's pack the stadium. This is more than a match. This is Grenada versus Jamaica, and we want all of you to be in the stands. Sunday, January 18th at 5 p.m. Grenada versus Jamaica. One team, one goal.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. Once again, we're into the final segment of today's edition of To The Point. We have, of course, our main focus of conversation this morning. We, of course, started off in talking about, of course, government proposed, of course, updating of governments. Let me get that piece of information there for you. The move towards National Cannabis Reform 2026. And I have seen some comments from folks via the WhatsApp. Folks saying it's not legalized. It's about decriminalized marijuana. So let's weigh the options with that. Let's go to the phone line. Caller live. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning to you, sir.
Now, the whole program is not targeting the gist of the issue. All I see, and I call my name Franklin Marshall, is this ruling party is attempting to consolidate its position in the next election by pleasing a certain faction of our society so that they can gain access to the parliament in the next election. This is a political move and nothing more. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Appreciate your contribution. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning. You're live.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Doing great. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. I mean, this marijuana thing, people go smoke. Since I born, people been smoking marijuana, but not as how they are smoking it now. This thing is still illegal. But people is smoking this thing as though this thing. For what I really would like to see the government do is to ban smoking in public places. And ban smoking in public places, that goes to cigarettes and every. Because if you light a fire without consent from the police or probably the neighborhood, is problem. Why people have to be just smoking and blowing their smoke in everybody else's face, even though you're not comfortable? They got to ban smoking in this country, cigarette, marijuana, and things of the sort. Until we do that, we're not going nowhere. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you. Appreciate your contribution also. Caller live. Good morning.
I beg your indulgences, Mr. Telesford, a minute.
Go right ahead, sir. Go right ahead.
One of your callers previously mentioned about a poll. My dear brother, the poll has been taken. Listen, the answer is no. The answer is no to perversion and further immorality in our society. We can't take this. We had to start to lift our heads, our noses, or whatever, and our voices, of course, for those who wish to further pervert the society for their own political aggrandizement, partisan political aggrandizement. We can't take this. I'm happy to hear the responses this morning, Mr. Telesford. I'm happy. And therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, to get the word out there to the others. It is beyond just who wants to use it for the rituals in the church. Why would a normal person think of having to dope him or herself to praise their God? Ridiculous. This country needs to feed itself. This is the direction we have to go. More food, more corn, more peas, more everything, lettuce, carrots, the conditions that they be created to create conditions for the growing of food so we can feed ourselves, we can cut back our import bill. That is the direction this country has to go, not to satisfy a few, as someone rightly said a while ago. Short but quite to the point. And therefore I end by telling you, Grenadians, as we get along towards the next election, because that shall be decisive, I tell you. Hear this. If any, and I'm saying it crystal clear in Grenadian for anybody that they can understand, if any one of your constituent parliamentary representatives vote to approve this bill that they propose to present in the nominal parliament, I have to stress on this word nominal because they're parliament just by name, the kind of bills that they approve there, fire their ass, don't afraid. He or she, fire their ass. I say it in Grenadian for everybody to understand. The answer is no to this further provision and perversion and degradation of our society. Mr. Telesford, thanks for raising the subject matter this morning, but when it comes again, we shall crush it. Thank you very much. You have a nice day, will you, sir?
You too, sir. Have a good one. Thank you so much for your contribution. And I'm looking at some of the comments via the WhatsApp. Someone is saying, if all the islands decide to grow weed, there will be, of course, economical benefits for Grenada. To me, there will be more drug lords and tough control. And second comment is saying, I think there will be more, of course, pilifying of the growing of cannabis. They can't control agriculture or food per se, but pilifying how to prepare to control the weed. That is what someone is saying there via the WhatsApp. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, bro.
Good morning to you, sir.
All your callers is 100% according to the polling census. Right. Food is priority. They already took marijuana and make food out of it. So again, a caller already mentioned that. It's all a political ploy. We already know that. Guess what? What God made, we all cursed, including me, right? Because I against it myself, and we must put laws in place. And according to Jude, the medical and the health must cut us. Dot our I's, cross our T's. These people now is in charge. The lawyers already on board. They have land already to make multi-million dollars out of, like the guy who called and said, taking a page from St. Vincent. This is a multi-million dollar business from whatever it is, okay? It has nothing to do with smoking. That is wrong, okay? Alcohol is wrong. Look, they bring gambling. That's wrong. All is immoral, right? So we cannot, look, it's already, the horses are already out the barn, right? They already passed it, okay? So we now have to get the law to keep track and stop it from growing in, like the people says, in public places, around churches and school. Again, God already created it. The birds and the animals shitting the seeds all over the place. You cannot stop it. So you have to put laws in place to control and get your taxes from it, okay? And do the positive things for medicinal, okay? And the people who want to smell it for religious, they have rights just like we who don't want it in our apartment, okay? We have rights. We shouldn't be smelling nothing that we don't want to smell, okay? So I'm totally against it. But for something that you cannot control, because God put it on the earth. So we all say, your poll this morning says, the census says, no, no, no. So we all curse it, okay? Who's in charge? God's will. And that's what's going to be, this, according to this whole thing. God is making the animals going to spread it all over the world, all over Grenada.
Thank you, sir. Weekend. Thank you. Appreciate your call. This will be my final caller. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning and welcome. You're my final caller for the morning.
Good morning, GT. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Doing great, sir.
I see you all red, so that means you're doing extra great.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah.
That's great. In regards to the topic, I do also want to make one observation, though, that all the political parties that I do know would have actually brought that to the frail for discussions. So it's not a matter of one party looking for political mileage over that said topic. All the political parties I've known, from ever since, well, not probably the way gone past in the past, but the present political parties I've known have all brought them to the frail. So it's not for political mileage. Now, as it regards to whether or not persons would have actually looked look at the essence of the topic, I must indeed say that I don't believe that that legalizing marijuana would be of any or would bring any benefit to Grenadians per se, as just like well, I mean, I see it as bringing harm. I also see alcohol, and to an extent bringing a lot of harm also. So I think unless we intend to go wide scale in probably building healthcare facilities that deals with people who are suffering from mental issues to help them curb that nature, I think we would then have to probably one mental institution in St. George's would not be sufficient. So I'm saying that legalizing it, I don't see that there's a need for that. I don't see that it's a way that we need to go. Maybe the criminalization of it, probably wiping someone out who might have actually might have possessed a fraction of it, but then you'd have to also look at where did they get that from? So I think it's more of an investigatory role that should be played in it, rather than probably a criminalization, putting someone, locking them up in the penitentiary, rather than finding where did they get that from? How did it come to our shores? I went to Paris over the summer and somewhat last summer, that is, and I got that scent of marijuana all where I went. It was a terrible taste to my mouth, and it somewhat lent a bad taste. The place was great, but the smell of marijuana certainly would make it not great. So I'm thinking, when I look at what Paris was, having that in Grenada, no, I'm not looking forward to that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate your contribution. Have a great day. What's left of it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey, folks, that's what we're going to take a wrap for today's edition of To The Point. I want to thank everyone who contributed towards today's edition. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And certainly appreciate your feedback. Those who thought it was something that I should not have contributed towards this morning, been getting some WhatsApp messages, of course, indicated why would I be wanting to talk about that. Of course, you're free to express your views on that also. Until then, have a good one, folks. We'll be back with you next week for more editions of To The Point. Have a good one, folks. All the best for the rest of the day and the weekend to come. That's why I say goodbye.